Hello viewers, welcome to another edition of Behind the News coming from the stables of the Nation Online TV. Today is the 13th day in the month of August, and gradually we are moving towards the half of the year. This is Behind the News, where we dissect, analyze, and look into some of the stories we have in few of our national dailies that we have in the studios. Over the week, a couple of events have unfolded, and we have there are a lot of issues happening around the country and around the globe by extension. And this is what we are going to be looking at in the studios this morning. I have few papers already with me in the studio. I have the Nation newspaper, I have Punch newspaper, and I also have New Telegraph with me this morning. However, I won't be doing this alone, as I have with me my guest and analyst, amazing, delectable, well-detailed and analytical Mr. Abimbola. Mr. Abimbola, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr. Rajetu. Thank you.
It's nice having you on the show today again, as always. And we trust your analytical and detailed skills to help us dissect these stories this morning. Quickly let me run through the headlines that we have in these national dailies, and I'm going to start with our very own, talking about the widely circulating newspaper, talking about the Nation newspaper. And on the window page of the front page, we have Tambuwal, EFCC hits back at ADC over unprovoked attack. Illegal 176 estates, diaspora depositors demand refund. How non-interest finance sector can grow by ebbing. National single window to take off in March. INEC begins continuous voter registration nationwide. And the feature story, we have it as Amaechi, how Fayemi and I began opposition coalition. IG orders probe of KWAM's Abuja airport infraction. Why I'm supporting Tinubu by Soludo. Disputes over property documentation. Daniel gets restraining order against Ogun government. And over to the Punch newspaper. Boko Haram scare. Borno villagers flee, sleep on Cameroon streets, schools. EFCC targeting David Mark after Tambuwal, Ihedioa, ADC. Federal government drops 60 billion naira fraud charges against ex-AMCON MD. Court orders federal government to close case in Dasuki's decade-old trial. Health sector crisis persists despite 5.4 trillion naira World Bank loans. NBA others condemn Ibom Air over female passengers assault. Police probe KWAM over Abuja airport misconduct. 30,000 naira car race bet leaves five dead in Ogun. And finally, New Telegraph. NIBSS, more Nigerians embrace POS as deployed terminals, up 119.4% to 5.90 million. No going back on CBT module for WASSC and SSSC federal government. Sorry, we salvaged properties worth 117 billion naira, rescued 450 lives from fire incidents. Court gives federal government deadline to conclude 10-year trial of ex-NSA Dasuki. NMA raises the alarm over mental health crisis among doctors. Criminally smart politicians now declaring assets before acquiring them. Olakunle. Israel bombards Gaza City as UK allies demand action against unfolding famine. EFCC releases Tambuwal after one night of detention. 2027, I have not seen anyone better than Tinubu in ADC, Wadada. NBA condemns Ibom Air's treatment of passenger, demands probe. HPV spread through oral sex linked to skin cancer study. And these at the headline from the national dailies that we have in the studio this morning. However, there's a recurring story that made the headlines of these three national dailies, and that is about the airport incidents that happened recently, in recent time. The one that happened involving Fuji Star, KWAM the Ultimate, and the one that happened involving a passenger, Emmanson, with Ibom Air a few days ago. And this story has been generating lots of controversies with readers, Nigerians, various Nigerians, both within and in diaspora, giving their various views about this particular issue. There was a no-flight ban initially imposed on the Fuji Star indefinitely, while a life no-flight ban was also initially imposed on the Ibom Air passenger Emmanson also. However, in the early hours of today, the Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Keyamo, released a statement on behalf of the federal government and saying that the no-flight ban for the Fuji Star KWAM will be reduced to 1 month, as opposed to the indefinite no-flight ban that was earlier slammed on him, while that of the Ibom Air passenger would be taken off completely. Now this, let me run through, the Nation has it, let me run through the story before we go into analyzing the story. The Nation has it as federal government withdraws criminal complaints against KWAM and Emmanson. Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Keyamo, has withdrawn criminal charges against musician KWAM and female passenger Miss Comfort Emmanson, citing wide consultation with critical industry stakeholders. Keyamo said recent events in the industry concerning unruly behavior of certain individuals are unfortunate. Regrettably, the minister declared that valuable lessons have been learned by all sides to this incident and airport security protocols. This is the minister saying, granting leniency as against the penalties that were meted out to the actors of this subject matter. Now, these issues have they have some little similarities. They have little similarities because it has to do with the actor, the passengers, and the flight officials. Now, do you think, looking at these two incidents now, do you think, Mr. Abimbola, that this issue has to do with the flight attendants, like flight protocols, other than the actors or the passengers?
No, we don't know. I mean, there are still so many areas we don't know about. There are always two sides to a story.
Yes.
Maybe three sides. The version of the two dramatic personae, then the truth in the middle. But let me first correct some. I don't think KWAM will ban indefinitely. I think it was 6 months or so. I can't remember.
No, it was indefinitely. According to statements by Keyamo, the no-flight ban was indefinite until all investigations are being concluded.
No, that wasn't the first. The first thing was around 6 months or so.
Yes, that was when I think that was when the NCA were looking at giving him them. It was after that Keyamo released the statement.
You see, you couldn't investigate something forever now.
Yeah.
So that definitely is just very dramatic. I just know that it was not, But let's put that one aside. Now, there seems a third incident which involved Senator Oshiomhole.
Yes.
That was like 4 or 5 months ago, I can't remember. And it just showed the crisis of relationship in the aviation, domestic aviation industry. More so when you might have been having a lot of racketeering. The flight, the fare is supposed to be skyrocketing. But from what we read, it doesn't seem to deter passenger traffic to the extent that it will appear as if there could appear to be some sharp practices behind the scene, and maybe some racketeering that people have been getting away with, and that was now blowing over, you know. And let's start with the Oshiomhole incident. Oshiomhole said he booked a flight and had boarded online, only to get to the airport to be told that there was no space. Despite that, he allegedly witnessed, he witnessed the flight crew allegedly putting people through at a premium. And that piece of alleged racketeering cheating, you know, roused the unionist in him. And he said, over my dead body will this continue. And that's for a lot of row. We didn't know what they said. We were going to investigate. We didn't know what happened to that one again until the KWAM incident. Now the KWAM incident was very pathetic. The people they claimed that he had alcohol in the flask. KWAM insists that it was water because it was always dehydrated, and the doctor said it should always put water, you know. When the thing was, when the chiefs were down, and the poop got to the chief, they claimed that the thing spilled, and it was alcohol that spilled. But between water and alcohol, there is a wide difference. Now, if KWAM said it was water, and the airport officials are saying it was alcohol, then someone who was telling the lie. We need to know who of the two was telling the lie. Now, who was telling the lie must be exposed. Since they are waving peace now, maybe not pouring blood, but be exposed and be warned not to tell the lie again. You know. Then the third case, the story we were told was a case of outright hooliganism by that young woman. You know. Honestly, it's like the same. Every lady is a woman, right?
Yes.
But every woman is not a lady. She didn't seem, that young woman didn't seem to be a lady the way she reacted to whatever that happened to her. But again, we didn't know what triggered that bestiality in her. And there was this explanation today. Unfortunately, I wasn't listening very well on TVC as to how the putting of her phone was beyond that distance of technical stuff and all that, the way they didn't correct her with love and all that and all that. Now, the base of my the premise of my presentation this morning is to say why we've got the story that the airlines want us to, they've shown us what they want us to see and try to exempt themselves. That narrative is not the whole story. We ought to know the story of the other side.
Yeah.
You know. Now, when we know the story of the other side, we can come to a fair conclusion as to what A did well or B did not do well. That will say that, judging on what we know, I don't think there is any redemptive factor on the Emmanson. I don't think there was anything redemptive about her, conduct. It was unladylike. It was bestial. Imagine a woman kicking, shoving, almost biting. Maybe she would have added biting so that to complete the madness. You don't behave like that. Then you knew that she wasn't even wearing a bra, and she was not careful not to get into a bra, in public. That was very reckless of her. Nobody knew. Whatever she was wearing was not wearing. If you knew you were your fashion conduct was suspect, you should have kept yourself and not allow yourself to be, But then they said she wanted to snatch the airline, what do they call it, fire extinguisher, to use as a weapon against her. Of course, we don't know what could have prompted that sort of sanity now. Maybe it was extreme provocation. Unfortunately, we don't know. But you see, where we are trained, if you went to any university worth as well in Nigeria, and I went to UI, and I know that no matter what, no matter how provoked you are not permitted to lift a finger on the fellow students. We argue, we brawl, we do all sorts of things, we shout and all that. But when you look at it, they say, oh boy, you won't graduate, you go graduate to, and that type of everything. Because if they report to any of the authorities, forget it. It's that day you leave the school, leave the campus. So we are trained that, okay, let your brain, your voice do all the talking. But don't engage any brow. Because it's just uncivilized, it's just animalistic. It's bestial to be browing over anything. When you can, you exchange logic. I think that even if you are going to exchange emotion by anger, maybe it's not the best. Logic is best, but if you cannot do that, shout your agony out. But to now more from there to be hitting and kicking and killing, no. That's it, no, absolutely not. So I think people have been making what they call fallacy of what do they call it?
This generation.
No, not this generation of what do they call it? Some things that are not similar. What do they call this? Is something that is not similar. They look like somebody should have matched them together. Something. I remember now. Between the case of KWAM and that young man was a completely different. The only thing that united the thing was that they were both on a flight. Much of what that lady did, that woman did, was inside the flight, which you don't know the full ramification. What KWAM did was outside, everybody saw it. Everybody saw it. So to now say because KWAM is a privilege that they are not touching him, and the girl was belong to the masses, that's why they are putting her in a jail. That's bull. That's bull. There are two. What was this? Fallacy of false equalization or something like that. What is it feeling me now? One of the famous fallacies. So there are two different things. Except you are using your flabby sentiments to put them together, you are just talking. You are not talking sense. What the girl did, we saw her manifest her misconduct. We saw her manifest her bestiality. We saw her push and kick people, slap people. And it's under a law, assault and battery. There is a statute book now. KWAM never assaulted anybody, or did he see him slap anybody?
He only almost committed suicide.
Yes. Only she almost committed that standing in front of a tree and they say maybe the water the flag gave him immediately if you want to stop it. If you want to stop a pain, then it is that. In KWAM excuse me. I to do it for you. So that was the closest to any violence. And she would have been the average man, because if the plane was taxed, if she had not done, if she had taken the head off, and that would have been a disaster. By the end of the day, the NC, the aviation authorities have tried to, to try err on the side of caution to say, okay, let's be picnics, let's try and mediate and appeal to everybody's good sense and all that, slash all the sanctions and all that. Well, nobody will quarrel with peace. We all want peace and all that. But the thing must be told, and we must make the point that until we see, like I said before, we have the full extent of what transpired inside the flight. We hear the passenger view as they were treated by the airport staff or by the in-flight staff. We will not be making any flight, any sound judgment. But I want to answer the guest that I don't think both the aviation authorities and the flight attendants they are as clean as they are projecting for us. Otherwise, if you are not provoke somebody, I don't think it will elicit that sort of a response. But then I don't have all of the facts. I'm just trying to project what my logical mind is telling me.
I mean, some people are like, there have been various accounts. Some people were like, oh, I'm an eyewitness, this was the way it happened, and all of that. And in as much as
fallacy of false equivalences, that's
false equivalences, okay. So in as much as I want to buy those eyewitness accounts, but then there are sometimes that we just need to be so evidential. Some things need to be so glaring. Okay, some people are claiming that, oh, it was some accounts have it that it was the flight attendant that provoked the passenger. She told her to switch off her phone, but she said her phone was on airplane mode already. She was just editing a video, and some are saying probably flight attendant is or was power drunk, and she just wanted to exhibit power, or exhibit some sort of power or control, yes, control freak, or control, yes, that she just wants to exhibit it and all of that. And in as much as that account might be true, I've been trying to search and see if there's any video that would, or any video evidence that would back up such accounts, that, oh, okay, this thing, not like to sound biased or anything, but there's been no, and I'm sorry to say, Nigerians that I know, as soon as anything is coming up, the first thing is everybody wants to have an account or a side to it. Everybody wants to have an account. Oh, my own angle, this was what I caught from the event, this was when I caught from the scenario and everything. But now everybody just coming out and saying, oh, I'm an eyewitness, this is what happened, I'm an eyewitness, this is what happened. Now, if eventually, okay, the question should be, can Emmanson now, after that the federal government has already dropped, granted that leniency, dropped charges and everything now, on compassionate ground, can she now sue Ibon Air?
Well, she couldn't see. Well, only lawyers can answer that question actually. But if it's common sense, you come to equity. Come to cleaners. I think it will be so stupid for her to say she wants to sue, because if she had not committed any bona fide offense, it's alleged to have committed a bona fide offense. I mean, I saw assault and battery. I saw it my own from the video. I saw somebody shoving. I saw somebody slapping. That's assault and battery. If she was in the hole for that, it would be stupid for her to say want to sue. Or what way would she sue? All this thing about I put on my phone is only video. Look, it's a safety issue, my friend. Safety first. Standard instruction when the plane is taking off. You know, switch on your phone or put it in this, but the thing is, listen to the pilot. So rather I will say put it in no fly mode. You know, some people will say switch on the phone. Whatever expression you hear from the cabin, obey it, because it's not your life alone. Some people are involved. I mean I don't know how many the capacity of that. Some of them have up to 150, 75, 80 and all that. And you, it's only individual. You are saying that what is convenient for you, because of your convenience, you are holding the other people to say. That's irresponsible. That's crassly irresponsible. It should not be tolerated. You know? Now, if you don't obey simple instruction, then you lose the comfort, the privilege of being addressed one way or the other. Prevention is better than care. If you don't want to be insulted, obey. What does it take now? What does it take? Now, the air hostesses or those who come for blame or otherwise will question where their training went. You know, let me give you an example. There's a guy that just wrote his biography. Say he had a student at Government College Ibadan, and that boy wanted to join the drama group. They kept on pushing him. The boy was a troublemaker. The mates would not, because the mate did not want to in the drama group. The teacher to said, "Hey, go ahead." Until the father came one day that the boy had committed suicide. how all those hostilities, you know, he was playing in school because he had a very lousy job. The stepmother was treating him like a slave. The father, you know, happy life, was playing dumb. Until the boy was so close to the wall, he couldn't relate in school. He couldn't relate at home. He went to drink kerosene. So when the boy died, and they came to report this, that teacher, who was a trained teacher, said he was now questioning the training, psychology, the child psychology course he did at Western College Ibadan, which should have put in practice in that boy's case. You understand? So he now said that he blamed himself for the death of the boy, even though he had nothing to do with it. By the same parallel, you question the training of the airport staff. Look, if you have a difficult passenger, you know, were you not trained in a way to disarm without being insolent or whatever? That is the blame. But that blame will be secondary, because if you are really, you don't choose how the corrector will correct you. That's the fact. You understand what I'm saying? So if you don't want to be insulted or anything, conform. How is it so difficult to conform now? Why do you wear this chip on your shoulders? And you feel that everybody is an animal because you can afford a fly. It's just basic home training or mistraining. Because if you are well trained, if you are really well trained for your home, it's not because of that sort of behavior. They go to the extent, even a report yesterday said that the girl, you know, after the flight had run out, she started targeting the people, you know, that felt that corrected, that one of them removed the wig, according to a report yesterday. Used the wig to beat the woman. Then that's where the fracas started. Then she went from there to slap the house. I saw that one. And that one was cool. That was the medical response. So when everyone had gone down, she now went to the loo to use herself. When she now came, she wanted to go out. The chief hostess blocked her, calling airport security.
But don't you think that she couldn't have leave the premise of the airport? Like there are other ways, like she could have done without blocking her from coming out of the aircraft.
No, it's standard protocol. You know?
Okay.
This one was even quoting a law that supported the woman's action. You see, we take so many things for granted there. Too many things for granted. You know? Because the president claimed there was a law that supported security, airport security law. Those I mean, it was in Aripa yesterday. I can't remember the exact thing. In any case, if that were the case, now, people now came, they want to take you in, come, you are now resisting them.
Yeah, I watched that.
How the two wrongs make it right? Even if you have been wrong, they want to arrest you, okay, you are not armed, you are not a criminal, follow them peacefully now. You want to show that you have right. Right, you are thrown away by your unruly behavior. These are the things. And you know, I keep on praying for them. I mean, everybody was, I mean, all of us were used before. So we made our own mistakes and all that. But this feeling of that nobody could hold them down, well, it's good to feel that you're irrepressible. I have no problem with that. But you should do that responsibly, not violently, and you make a fool of yourself, and you make a scene and create a scandal. At the end of the day, look at that. She was told to create it for at least 2 nights. I don't know if they released that now.
Well, they said they should release her in the space of 1 week.
1 week? No, 1 week.
Yeah, this week, like.
This week, that will 1 week now. Maybe create a maximum security prison. I mean, just a little patience. What's the point?
Then so on the issue of the indecent media files flying around, like the videos that had indecent, like the indecent videos that have some parts of her body being exposed. Couldn't she or can't she sue the airline for that?
I don't know if she could sue.
No, not me. She.
I don't know if she could sue or not sue. But like I said, if you are not wearing a bra, why dare to scuffle? Now, put that one aside. If you didn't want to be roughened up, why try to roughen other people up? Because people talk on sentiments. You are going to be taking it and arrested. The law says follow quietly. Now if you get to the post, then you have lodged your complaint like a civilized person. You want to sue yourself. And you get to a booth and you are not complaining that your face has been bruised. Has he taken the other part? Would that have happened? All these are just moral blackmail to people that I mean, this was a self-caused disaster, and the girl should get the full blame for it. You know, you are not wearing a black. Your dog was not even complete. Yet, you reached in the so-called video. It was what happened in the post. If you didn't see the video, people just saw it now. So what's our dignity exposing herself that way? And people will say you are blaming the victim. No, sir, I'm not blaming the victim. I'm blaming somebody who ought to have used a common sense. So that it's not end up in that sort of that sort of pitiful situation. It's very avoidable. And yeah, you went into it and you have some people just cooking up emotions and all that. No, you can't be glorifying bad culture. No. I won't subscribe to that.
So this way is even a very, like, now that according to the federal government, both sides have learned their lessons, and we just hope that all these kind of incidents and stories an end has come to them, going by these two scenarios.
But I want to see, because there appears to be some sort of plausible trend of behavior from the airline staff.
Airline staffs.
Both on the ground and there. And I just wonder, how much do they pay them? Are they well paid? Because if you are not well paid, you see people patronizing a market that some people feel that is out of the world. From Lagos to Abuja, and if you don't have, is it 200,000 or 150,000 on a flight? In those days, we were paying 12,000, 15,000. At the very peak, it was 35,050. You have to pay at least twice. And people are affording it. And your salary has not changed. Now, that could lead to so many things. You probably, racketeer, you find a way, to make some quick bucks, which will support what Oshomole was alleging. That they couldn't get money from Oshomole, and they say, okay, they sort you. I said, no, you are not going to sort me out. You are talking to Father Oshomole, what's his name? All of people who have no name, I'm going to fight for them. And they escalated the thing and tried to make Oshomole the villain. Of course, Oshomole had his public profile now. It's not Oshomole today. He will no more labor man forever. So he had fought people. So everybody know that he have a modicum of integrity. So that one did not fly. Then number two, you could get so emotionally riled that you just start getting rude to your passengers at the slightest provocation. So those are the issues we look at. If they are not being paid, let them sort them out. Let them be humane. Because if you are flying over the place, a risk when you are up there between you and your God. So yeah, this thing is very they work on the statistics, the physics and all that, and mechanics and all. But there's still the X factor. Only God has that X something. So when you're up there, it's so risky. And yes, somebody goes there every day for a pittance. I don't know how much they are paid. I don't know. But if they are raising the fares, and it's just to look at the service, they have this rigorous service protocol, and the cost is in dollars, and you are looking at something, you are not looking at the human being. You are abandoning a critical factor of your business, so that you look at it. So if they're able to sort that one out, and they behave more humanly and more politely to passengers, I want to guess either that we are going to have less of this crisis. The other ones, what the Igbo will call Omokata, that's what they call it, Omokata. That the more useless breed of human being. You can tackle those ones. But when everybody, it has cut across the generation, a celebrity, a unionist, a musical celebrity, and an all the same trapped in the same court of provocation. So that's the...
So backing what you said, even the statements by the minister this morning even has it that he directed all relevant aviation agencies in collaboration with other complementary agencies outside aviation to immediately begin a retreat next week to properly retrain and prepare aviation security personnel on how to deal with errant and disruptive passengers and how to de-escalate potentially explosive situations. The retreat will be fully covered by the press with the opportunity to ask all the relevant questions. The airline will also have their own session when the conduct and attitude of their staff towards members of the traveling public will be in full focus. So this is actually a very good development also. So they have to retrain their staffs, retrain everybody. So in as much as the passengers are working on themselves, has to work on themselves, the airline operation or operatives also have to also work on themselves. That way everybody will learn to behave in a more civilized manner, logically, and without sentiment, and in a more matured way, and also in a more matured way. Thank you so much, Mr. Abimbola, for having you on the show today. It was really a nice ride with you on this journey, and I just hope that Nigerians will learn not to be sentimental when making their judgments. Let us learn to look at the two sides of a story before passing our judgment, and also let us learn to be logical, like as logical as possible. Not every battle is worth fighting. Some things are meant attended to or approached diplomatically and logically. Sometimes, most times you just have to think about yourself, think about your name. Why should I be seen fighting or causing a brawl or causing destruction, making the headlines for the wrong reasons?
Exactly.
Let's just also bear that at the back of our mind. In as much as we might be offended, we might be wronged, we might be vexed, we might even be very angry, but let's just think about it that any small thing we might make the headlines, and would you like it when you make the headlines for the wrong reasons? So let us just have that at the back of our mind. The change that we all expect and pray for in Nigeria begins with both you and I, and let us make sure that from our small space we tend to exhibit that change and exhibit the greatness that we want to see in Nigeria. Until next week when we shall come on screen again, I remain Ayooluwa.